In 5.3, we're going to be talking more about the graphs of polynomial functions, and hopefully some of it is a review and you already know a little bit of it anyway. The graphs of polynomial functions are smooth and continuous. That just means when you put your pencil down, you can follow this graph until the end without ever picking your pencil up, and you never make any sharp points. Like you would never have the absolute value function because it has a sharp point in it. The domain of a polynomial function is all real numbers, so negative infinity to infinity will be your domain of a polynomial function. Let's look at this first example. Find the x-intercepts of this function and then look at the graph of f on your graphing calculator. So we have our function and they want us to find the x-intercepts. That means we need to let y equal 0. So we have 0 equals all that stuff. Alright, so from here, that's supposed to be a 6, isn't it? So from here we can see that we can factor out an x squared. Now we learned before how to factor quadratic-like functions. It's where we let u equal x squared. In this case it's usually the variable part of the term in the middle. Not always, but usually. And if you do that, let's just focus on this part right here. We'll come back and pick up this little guy in a little bit. So if we let u equal x squared, then x to the fourth becomes u squared. 3x squared becomes 3u, and we bring down the plus 2. From here you can see you can factor that into u minus 1 and u minus 2. Just double checking to make sure that's right. So right now what we have is 0 equals, bringing on the x squared again, x squared, u was x squared, right? So right here we have u, and we have another u. Now we need to set both of those equal to 0, or all three of those. So x squared equals 0, x squared minus 1 equals 0, and x squared minus 2 equals 0. To solve this one, we take the square root of both sides. You're supposed to do plus or minus, but that's just 0, so we just get x equals 0. On this one, we're going to add 1, then take the square root, don't forget plus or minus. X is equal to plus or minus the square root of 1 is 1. Here we add 2. So x squared is equal to 2. Take the square root of both sides, don't forget plus or minus. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 2. We actually have 5 x-intercepts here. We have the point 0, 0, 1, 0, negative 1, 0, square root of 2, 0, and the negative square root of 2, 0. So these are all of our x-intercepts. I just want to get a general number for the square root of 2. Square root of 2 is approximately 1.4. So what I want to do now is graph this equation. So I went to y equals, typed in the equation, and now I'm going to hit graph. Well, crazy function. I did zoom in quite a bit so we could get a good picture of this one. So you can see it does cross at 0, 0, where it touches the x-axis there. At 1, 0, it crosses the x-axis. At negative 1, 0, it crosses the x-axis. And then we have at positive and negative square root of 2, which is positive and negative 1.4. That would be this point right here. So here's 1 and here's 2. 1.4 would be there. Negative 1.4 would be there. So you can see this graph really does touch the x-axis in all 5 of these points. Find the x and y intercepts of this function. Look at the graph of f on your graphing calculator. Alright, so to find an x-intercept, remember let y equal 0. So we have 0 equals x to the 4th minus 19x squared plus 30x. Now we can factor out an x. We're left with x cubed minus 19x plus 30. So just looking at that, I don't know a way that we've learned yet to factor this. There is a way, but we haven't learned it yet. If this had been a 2, then we could try to factor, or we could even use the quadratic formula, but it's not. So since we don't know how, I'm going to show you how to use your calculator. But before we do that one, how about the y-intercept? This is where you let x equal 0. Look up here. If that's 0, and that's 0, and that's 0, don't you just get 0? So we would have f of 0 is 0 to the 4th minus 19 times 0 squared plus 30, that's 30, times 0. Well, all of that is just 0. So your y-intercept is the point 0, 0. So how do we do this on our calculator? I'm going to type in the function in the y equals screen. We have x to the 4th minus 19x squared plus 30x. Now I don't know what the window needs to be, so I'm going to do zoom 6. That just gives me my standard window. And you can see that doesn't really tell me much. It looks like it's coming up, going back down, going way up, and then back down, and then back up again. What I'm going to do is try to zoom out a little bit by changing my window. I'm not really sure what I need to change it to, so you get to see me doing some trial and error here. It looks like we needed more y's, so I'm going to leave the x's as they are. I'll change this to negative 50, and I'll change this to a positive 50. Let's just see what that does for us. Okay, so we see a little bit of what's going on. It's coming down, it goes way down there somewhere, but it comes back up, crosses the x-axis again, and back up again. So we could probably use the graph as it is right now. What we want to do is find this point, this point, this point, and this point. So it looks like we need 4 x-intercepts, which we should know based on that number right there. Alright, so this is how we do it. Second calc is right here. And we want 0. So click 2. So you have to answer this question. Is my cursor, it's right there, is it on the left side of the 0? What I'm going to do is move it over here, and we'll go in order. I have no idea how far we have to go. There it goes. Alright, so here is my cursor. It is on the left side of this point. So push enter. I scroll to the right. Now it's on the right side of my 0, and the calculator says, do you want me to guess? Well, yes, I want you to guess. So it's saying that we have a 0 at negative 5, 0. Alright, well that's one. Let's get another one. So second calc 0. Oh, there's my cursor. I'm trying to get this 0, so I need to be on the left side, enter. I need to be on the right side, enter. Guess, yes, enter. Looks like the point 0, 0. Alright, now we want to try to get this point. Second calc 0 again. I'm on the left side. Now I'm on the right side. Guess, yes. That would be the point 2, 0. Zero again. We're on the left side. We're on the right side. Guess, yes. That's the point 3, 0. So hopefully these are our zeros. you can double check that they really are by plugging them back into the function. So let's say we want to test -5. Do -5, stow, x, enter. So you just told your calculator that x is -5, and type in the function x to the 4th minus 19x squared plus 30x, and we do get 0. Let's try the next one. Well, we know 0 works because we found that one over here. 2 stow x, enter. I'm just going to recall that function. We do get 0 when we plug in 2. Let's plug in 3. Recall the function. We also get 0. So these 4 points are the x-intercepts to that function. Now, I know that I'm telling you how to find these on your calculator, which is great when it comes to tests because you can use your calculator on the test. However, when you learn how to factor this, which we will be doing very soon, you must show the work where you factor this before you give me the zeros. So just keep that in mind when you're going through these, okay?